Hello, my name is Stuart. I am a photographer and a videographer. I have been given this car for a long weekend to experience it and give you a real world review and my personal thoughts on the vehicle. It is the Citroen e-C3. It's an electric car, 4-door hatch, small SUV style car. I think it's got a really nice front end to it. I think it looks quite stylish. I think the design works really nicely. You've got everything from the roof rails, you've got everything from auto lights, auto wipers, nice LED headlights. They're fantastic in the dark, especially on main beam. You've got plenty of light. Yeah, we're just going to drive it and see what I think. So let's have a look inside, check out all the infotainment system, what the seats are like, how much space we have and everything like that, and then we'll take it for a good drive and experience it together. So this is the back seat area. I've come for this side because I just thought I'd come behind the window. There we go, so my headrest needs to come up. There we go, that's a lot more comfortable, can sit back. I am 5'10", so I'm not the tallest person in the world, but my knees aren't touching. The back of my knees are off the deck though. So the seat is a little bit low at the, or when my feet are high, but it's not uncomfortable. I can see out the window clearly, which is good. We've got 2 USB-C charging points there, and we've also got another 12-volt thing there. Got something here for your phone, I presume, and another pocket as well. Other than that, it's quite comfy back here. The seats are really comfy, I must say. Very sort of, feels like memory foam kind of feeling. I've got plenty of headroom because I'm not overly tall, but yeah, but obviously this seat is actually back quite a bit, so you could push this one forwards somewhat. Me as a driver, the front seat is in the right position for myself, but if you had someone shorter, obviously it's going to move forwards. If you're 6 foot plus, this one will probably come back a bit, but also you can angle the seats and everything as well, so and go down and up, so they sort of change their angle of attack as such. So they will be slightly different, but I've kind of got a pretty good seating position for me in there. So yeah, there's slightly more room this side compared to that side due to where the seat is. But let me jump out quickly and show you. So where I'd move the seat forward to give the person in the back quite a bit more leg room, I can just about, even though I'm like 5'10", so I'm relatively tall, I can only just about reach the end of the footwell. So obviously as a driver you need to put your feet on the pedals, but here I could actually go back. I could easily have it there, giving my passenger a lot of space in the back if I needed to, depending on if you've got someone taller in the back as well. You can give them plenty of space, and it's still very comfortable in here. These seats are actually really quite nice and supportive, but comfortable at the same time. That's loads more comfy. I can actually get my feet right underneath the front seat, which is good, because some cars I've been in before, you sort of struggle to get your feet on the floor properly or under the seats, but there's actually a good few inches worth of space that I can actually get in. So there we go, that's there, but it still gives you loads of legroom because you're a passenger on this side. You haven't got pedals or anything to worry about, so you've got more legroom on the left hand side of the car anyway, so you could afford to have this seat a little bit further forward generally. Like I say, depending on how tall the driver is, depends on where that seat is, but with this position I feel very comfortable. You've got ISOFIX as well for baby seats, etc, etc. So let's put these seats down and have a look at how big the boot is when we need some more luggage space. So at the moment I've got one of my large camera bags in the boot. I could get 3 across, so this would fit 3 times that way, plus you'd get 3 more, so you could get 6 bags this sort of size in this boot. It's quite a bit of shopping, to be fair, or whatever really, but let's take that out. We have the charging cable that goes in for charging. Unfortunately, there don't seems to be any... Oh, there's a bit of storage actually below. Hang on. let's bring you in. So actually, ow, headbutt down. There is a little storage spot underneath for a tyre compressor, the towing eye, and I'm guessing tyre gunk. So yeah, depending if you wanted that with you, you could make space for your cables to sit there, or to be fair, they're just in the boot. It's not really, they don't take up much space. So we'll take out the parcel shelf, which just lifts up. Super light nowadays, isn't it? They don't weigh much. It will fit straight in the boot itself. We have two little latches here. I don't know if you can see, there's one here. What we'll do is put that headrest down like that, and it's just a case of push and push. And then on here we have the head-up display as such, and it's showing that we have 67% battery, and it's showing me the lights are on. My miles per hour is 0 and we're in park, but if we've now got all the buttons and everything here for the driving bit. So parking, and then you've got reverse, neutral, drive, and then C, which is for comfort. You do it via this, but you can C is actually a button. So if you push C, it reduces the effect of the regeneration of the battery. So it makes the car a bit more glidey. It just drifts along the road, and there's less regenerative braking. And then back a bit further, we have the electronic parking brake. And then on the steering wheel, we have cruise control and speed limiter. And over here on the right hand side, we've got the volume for phone and the stereo and everything like that. So very easy when you're driving along, just use your thumbs. And then behind there, we've got windscreen wipers, rear wiper, and washing. And then the other way, we'll get around there, we have auto lights, fogs and everything like that. So there we go, it's very easy. So we've got physical buttons, which is really nice. So we can make the fan go quiet, or we can go crazy with it. We've got AC max. It's really hot in here. Quite handy. We've got heated seats, both sides. We've got heated front windscreen, rear windscreen, and a defrost button. Obviously temperature up and down. I've got it on low at the moment. You've got the angles of where the vents are being used. So I've got all three now. I did only have it on one, but that's on three. And then recirculation and non-recirculation. So there we go. So easy to use. They've got rid of any idea of having to touch the screen other than sat-nav, phone, and the music side of things. So all of your heating, cooling, and everything like that is all done by buttons now, which is so much better. That's the way it should be, especially when driving. Because if you have to physically look over to a screen, your eyes are off the road. But if you get to know your car, I can just put my hand forward. And I go, yeah, I know that one there on the right hand side, the bigger one is the fan. So I can up the fan without even taking my eye off the road. It's that easy, isn't it? So much safer way of doing it. You've also got a door lock button there. It automatically locks when you start driving, but if you hop in the car and you want to lock the door straight away, you can just push that. And then you've got hazard lights as well. So very easy to deal with. So it's very simple actually. So we've got the media, phone, navigation. So we can mute it because I don't want to listen to anything just for copyright purposes. Music, at the moment we are in there, so we can go to DAB radio. We've got all the different, there's only one saved, but you can save all your different bits and pieces there. You've got search for different things. You've also got your setup, so equalizer, volume, and other bits and pieces to do with the DAB radio. Scan for phones. My phone is there. There we go. That's now connected. Apple CarPlay. There we have. So I've got all my bits and pieces that I need on there, like Waze, car scanner, so we can scan the car if we had any faults, and obviously Google Maps, Waze, WhatsApp, and all the other bits and pieces that you might need as well. So that works really well. As soon as you obviously put your phone onto the wireless charger, which I can do now actually, we will see the charging will happen there on that icon. It shows you now my phone is charging. With this modern steering wheel, you've got obviously a few controls that I've talked about already, but the most obvious thing here is we have a physical key. So you get in, you put your foot on the brake and you rotate the key once, power comes on, second, you get full ignition, and then you click it like you would start a diesel or a petrol car, but it obviously makes no sounds, which is a shame. I think they could add something there to add a bit of character and just kind of make you feel like you've started the car properly, because it feels a bit strange, because I'm used to hearing an engine roar into life or whatever. But yeah, it's a little bit lacking in that area. But other than that, I mean, it started because it shows all the things on the dashboard and it says you can drive away. If you don't put your seatbelt on or anything, obviously it moans at you. So when we're charging, we pop open the little hatch. Depending on what charging you're using, pull that one out, plug your charger in, and then we should see some flashing lights going on. That's just now locked itself, which means it won't come out. It's a tight fit. To disengage it, you just have to unlock the car basically, and it'll just disengages it. Let's take it for a drive. So you put the key ignition, put your foot on the brake, and then it comes to alive, and then you turn the key. It beeps at you, does the settings, your screen then comes on. Aircon is on, which I've now turned down, and then we can just go into drive. Turn the electric handbrake off, handbrake is released, and the door's locked, and away we go. So as you can see, the steering wheel is quite an interesting shape. It's not square, but it's not round, but actually it feels quite nice in the hand. The display is up here, and you can basically see your speedo and everything, so you look over the steering wheel. Electric steering obviously, and it actually feels pretty good. It's, coming from a car that's hydraulic power steering, which generally does have good feel, this is actually quite good. Actually, I was quite impressed. So hill starts, the car will just, it should hold itself there, so let this car go past first. Yeah, it's just sitting here. Lets it roll back very gently, but you have hill assist there. And then as we go along, there's quite a strong recenter on the steering, which is quite nice because it kind of makes you know where the steering is. It kind of gives you a little bit more feel to it. So there we go. We are on a country lane right now, which isn't the best quality of surface, so it's a little bit noisy, but there you go. Probably heard a pothole there. But I think with the space in the back, you have enough legroom for short to medium journeys with no real trouble at all. I'm 5'10", like I said earlier, but if you had anybody 6 foot plus in the back, it might be a little bit of a squeeze. But how many times in the old days did we get a couple of mates in the back of a Ford Fiesta, 6 foot tall, squeezing in there, and just getting on with it. But at least we have 4 doors, so you can hop in and out quite easily. The boot is a good size, which you've seen, and yeah, it's a simple car at the end of the day. Even though it has got the tech, like I say, heated steering wheel, heated seats as well. Like I say, what more do you need? So, general performance side of things, I'm quite blown away by it. It just shows you how efficient an electric motor is, because we've only got 113 horsepower apparently. Torque is quite a lot, and it's not the fastest car in the world by any means. And in fact, when you drive it normally, it's very very brisk, and if you stamp on it, yeah, it does pick up quite rapid. You can overtake something with ease. It's not designed to go mega fast. It's designed to do 85 miles an hour maximum. That's obviously limited down to the electric motor. You know, it's designed to be around towns, cities, but also, you know, out on country roads like this where you can enjoy it. And also, you know, we don't need to go any faster than sort of 60, and a lot of the time you're doing 50. At the moment, actually, I'm doing 45. I don't feel like I need to go any faster. This road is a 60, you know. So it just proves, you know, actually the more aggressive of a car, it makes you drive faster generally anyway. So having something that's a bit more supple, a little bit more leisurely, makes you drive differently. So the regen is actually quite good. So I've not even touched the brake yet, and I've almost stopped. I've still got another 30-40 metres before the junction. I've still not touched my brake yet. That's taken me right down to 5 miles an hour, and I've just put my foot on the brake. So that, I think, is quite impressive, that you can regen that much, and you are not relying on your brakes, you know, as much as you would do in a normal car. The other thing I have noticed is, yeah, if you put your foot down, it shifts. You know, we're already at 40 miles an hour without even blinking, you know. So that's great. You can got enough performance to get yourself into traffic as such. The other side of it is the throttle. When you first drive the car, and you know, the first time you experience it, it seems very dead for the first inch or so. There doesn't seem to be much happening, and I think that really just helps you with economy and the way you drive it, because if it was really sort of aggressive, as in the way it worked, you'd be accelerating into walls and stuff by accident, and two, you'd probably be using more battery power all the time because you'd be edging it on all the time. So having a little bit less of a sensitivity down the bottom, now I've got my foot on the throttle, you know, if I do stamp on it, it just picks up and off you go. But yeah, I'm just blown away by how smooth it is for the price of it. That's one of the things, because you haven't got a 3-cylinder petrol making a load of vibrations and noises and everything like that. It's as good as a more expensive electric car, you know, at the end of the day, because yeah, you haven't got the performance, but in the real world, when you're driving around towns and places like that, you don't really need the performance anyway. It's a good looking car for what it is. I think the front end's really nice, the back end is quite nice as well. Side on, not necessarily my cup of tea or everyone else's cup of tea, but I think as a whole package, I think it's a really good car. There's no rattles, creaks. If you do hear anything, it'd be my phone sliding around in the cup holder. I had some rattles and stuff yesterday, but that was because I'd put the rear seat down and forgot. So it was just bouncing around a little bit, and the seatbelt was banging against the side of the thing there. So yeah, I think for the money, it's an absolute bargain. And like I said, I think it's a good looking car. People look at it. I think it's because it's got sign writing on the side of it. I'm basically a driving advert at the moment, so as I drive around, people have been looking at it, but they're probably wondering what it is. And it's quite a nice colour, this one. So there we go. So this e-C3 is kind of like a baby SUV. It's that sort of style. It's slightly higher off the ground. It's got a higher body shape, which actually allows you to, I'm not going to say off-road, but you can drive across a field quite happily, even if it's a bit bumpy. You can go across a big bumpy car park with no real drama, and you know you're not really going to bash the bottom very easily. I think it's where it's electric, you don't have an oil sump to worry about hitting either, so that's also a benefit. When you get onto a nice bit of tarmac, this is literally like gliding on silk. It is that smooth. But then sadly, when you get onto a rubbish road, it gets a little bit noisy again. So visibility, which you can actually see via this camera, is actually pretty good. The mirrors, I can see both sides very, very simply. The interior mirror is obviously zoomed in a bit, so you can basically see out the little back window quite well. And then we have a rear camera as well, so that makes a makes it easy. We can pull out. We've got actually quite a good view across the bonnet, which is good, and the bonnet is visible. So, and these pillars aren't too fat. You can see between the wing mirrors there as well. So the visibility is actually pretty good. You get a little bit of a whew sort of noise while you are slowing down, which is part of the electric bit, and then you can hear it as you pull away, and then it sort of just disappears. But I think that's just because road noise takes over. So I presume that's actually the electric motor sound rather than anything being pumped through the speakers or anything like that, where you get a lot of fake sounds nowadays in cars. So the seats are firm but comfortable. They support you really, really well actually. And you know, as we're driving round through sort of twisty country roads, you know, you're not going to be thrown out the seats that easily, which is a good thing. And you know, we're doing just under the speed limit, sort of 50 to 60 miles an hour, and yeah, it's absolutely great. So we're driving down a road now which is actually renowned for the every 5-10 meters of a bump, so you can actually hear the noises, but it's actually still very, very smooth. Hardly any bumps coming through the steering wheel really. I mean, the odd one or two, but actually most of the time it's absolutely fine. It's very, very compliant, this suspension. And then I'm not braking at all, my feet are off the pedals, and that is the regen coming in. There we go. We do have a C button down here, so if I let off the throttle now, it brakes almost to a halt. But if we put it into C mode, it sort of retards that and reduces it down to hardly anything. So it still will regen, but the car becomes a bit more glidey along the road, so it will just roll now a lot more. So it takes away the aggressiveness of the regen on sort of its normal mode. So as you let off, we sort of glide with the traffic a bit easier rather than just going, ooh, it's almost stopping. So we're in reverse. We're going to park, as you can see in the mirror, well, my face, as we can see in the mirror and the camera. We're going to reverse into a space using the camera. It's telling me that there's a post nearby. There we go. I'll straighten up, and plenty of space. Push P to park, and then your handbrake on, and off you go. That's it. That's parking. Simple as. So with all of the electrics on, it hasn't really made any difference to the range. So obviously something clever's happening there. The heated steering wheel is on, and I think this is actually, I thought to myself, actually, would I overuse it? Not necessarily. I'll tell you what, it's lovely and warm. But I thought, actually, if you've got bad circulation in your hands, which obviously a lot of people suffer from, it would be a really, really nice thing to have, because obviously it would help your circulation. So that's a really nice feature to have, actually. Right, so I thought I'd take you guys for a little night drive. One thing I have done is turn the screen down, the brightness down on the infotainment system, because it's quite bright. So I've just dimmed it down for nighttime driving. There you go, auto main beams. But the display is quite nice actually, because it doesn't reflect up onto your windscreen. Auto main beams, that was good timing. Comes on. It does detect a car coming the other way. It's very good, but a couple of times last night when I was driving home, it was a little bit slow reacting. Just very aware of deer. So at the moment there are hundreds everywhere. Obviously spring, mating, all that sort of stuff going on, babies. So being a little bit cautious. But having a really nice spread of LED headlights is quite nice. So auto headlights still on. They dipped almost instantly then, and they come back on straight away. So they do work really quite well. I mean, is it something we need? Not really, but if you've had your main beams on for quite a long time, you might forget they're actually on and someone coming the other way. It just obviously helps reduce blinding someone else, so that's obviously a good thing. Heated seats are nice. I've got my one still on now. It's quite pleasant. So it's got 3 levels of heat. So, and it was literally within 20 seconds. It was nice and warm. So yeah, that works pleasantly well. So this is my thoughts, personal thoughts of an EV as such. So where I've never had one before, but I've been driving this for the last 4 days, and I have driven a couple in the past for short periods. This size car is actually kind of ideal for most people, I think, because most people are driving shorter distances. You know, you might do 20 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles in a trip, but most of the time you're just popping to the shops or maybe going to work and stuff like that. So actually having a car that can do that very well, and you can just charge it at home, that's if you have the option to obviously plug it in at home. And you know, even trickle charging it, which I've done at home because we don't have a charging port or anything, and trickle charged overnight, it still topped it back up to 100% over 7 hours from sort of 65%. So even if you drove home from work or wherever and you had 65%, plug it in the evening, and by the morning it's fully charged. So it's still very usable even on a slower charger, and yeah, it kind of makes sense. And for the price point this car is at, I think it's a very affordable car, and the amount of tech you've got in it is quite incredible. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a win-win situation in a lot of ways. Has it changed my mind for EVs? Yeah, it has actually, a little bit. I still love my car that I own, but for a commuter car or everyday use, it kind of makes sense. You don't have to go to a petrol station or anything like that, so you can literally, and it's very, you know, just charge it at home, but it's just a relaxing drive. So I'm now going to give you a real world score out of 10 for the e-C3. Comfort. Yep, seats were really quite nice, supportive. The ride quality was also very good, even across a bumpy field. Driving experience, it was actually a really good drive. Quite fun, quite quirky, handled well, brakes were very good, and just pretty nice to drive. Economy was better than I expected, but obviously could be better in the real world. But actually, for everyday use, it was very, very good. Value for money. This car, I think, has so much to give, with loads and loads of tech. In fact, more tech than you'd ever really need. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for value. Would I buy the e-C3? Yes, I would, if I needed a car like this. Absolutely fantastic and really good value for money. So I've brought the e-C3 back to Wilmoths, Hastings, which is near Battle in East Sussex, and yeah, loved it. Great little car. If you're interested in this or any other cars on their forecourts or in the showroom behind me, either please pop in, say hello. If not, the descriptions of address, telephone number, emails, website and everything are below and on the screen here somewhere. So give us a shout. I shall see you soon for another video. Take care. Bye.